I just played Liebestraum, Miss Channing.
Play it again, darling.
That was the fourth straight time.
This will make the fifth straight time. I'm just crazy about Liebestraum.
Margo.
Here I am, darling. Fetch me a martini from that tray, please. Fetch me two.
Margo, some of your guests are wondering when they'll be permitted to view the body. Where has it been laid out?
It hasn't been laid out, darling. We haven't finished with embalming. As a matter of fact, you're looking at it. The remains of Margo Channing. Sitting up. It is my last wish to be buried sitting up.
Wouldn't you feel more natural taking a bow?
Bill, you know nothing about feelings natural or unnatural.
Your guests are also wondering whether the music couldn't be a shade more on the, shall we say, happier side.
If my guests do not like it here, I suggest they accompany you to the nursery, where I'm sure you will all feel more at home.
Margo, I must speak to you.
Speak, Max.
You got any bicarbonate of soda in the house?
Of course I've got some bicarbonate of soda in the house. I've got some. There's a box in the pantry. We'll put your name on it. Max Fabian. It'll stay there, always. Just for you, Max.
You hear that, Bill? I got Fred.
I love you, Max. I really mean I love you. Go to the pantry. Well, Mr. Sampson, shall we stroll among the guests?
Margo, baby.
Your arm, lover.
Look, now, I think you've had enough firewater for tonight.
Your arm. Tell me, lover, is that a vulture over there dipping his beak in the lobster salad?
Oh, that ain't no vulture, lady. That's Addison DeWitt.
Ah, how enchanting. I hope he's got a fish allergy. Well, if that isn't Karen.
Hello, Margo.
And dearest Lloyd and little Eve.
Oh, is there anything I can get for you, Miss Channing? A drink, perhaps?
No, thank you. And don't get up. And please stop acting as if I were the Queen Mother.
I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean...
Margo, outside of a beehive, your behavior would hardly be considered either queenly or motherly.
You're in a beehive, pal. Didn't you know? We're all busy little bees, full of stings, making honey day and night, aren't we, Eve? Honey.
Margo, now really.
Please don't play governess, Karen. I haven't your unyielding good taste. I wish I'd gone to Radcliffe, too. But my father wouldn't hear of it. He needed help at the notions counter.
Come on, cut it out, Margo.
Listen to me, Bill. This is my house, not a theater. In my house, you're a guest, not a director. As for me, I'm going to bed. Bill, you be the host. It's your party. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Welcome home. And we who are about to die salute you.
Hey, wait a minute, baby. You need any help?
To put me to bed? To tuck me in, turn out the lights, and tiptoe quietly out? Eve would, wouldn't you, Eve?
Why, yes, certainly, if you'd like me to, Miss Channing.
I wouldn't like. Good night, everybody.
But, Margo, your guest.
What do they need me for? The drinks are still holding out. If not, Eve will fix everything. She fixed Bill's welcome home birthday party. Ah, a night to go down in history. Like Custer's last stand. Like the Johnston flood. Like the assassination of Julius Caesar.
You are listening to All About Eve, produced by the Theater Guild on the Air, presented by the United States Steel Corporation. Starring Tallulah Bankhead as Margo, with Beatrice Pearson as Eve and Kevin McCarthy as Bill Sampson, and featuring Mary Orr as Karen Richards.
What was it the wise man said? This too will pass away. And so 2 weeks later, all was well again with Bill and me.
It is at this point, friends, that I must once again call attention to myself, Addison DeWitt. You see, I had somehow become acquainted with a certain exotic blonde, Miss Claudia Caswell, a graduate of the Copacabana School of Dramatic Art. And in a weak moment, I had promised her an audition with Max Fabian, the Broadway producer.
Okay, Addison. You mention my play in your column every day for 1 month, and I do it.
2 weeks.
1 month.
3 weeks.
1 month, and I get Margo Channing to read with her.
Margo?
She'll do it for me. Is it a deal?
It's a deal. And so the day of the audition arrived. It was a Friday. I was smoking a cigarette in the deserted lobby when Margo came into the theater, late, as usual.
Well, Addison, why so remote? I should think you'd be at the side of your protege, lending her moral support.
The audition, my dear Margo, is over.
Over? It can't be. I've come to read with her.
That audition was called for 2:30. It is now nearly 4.
Oh, is it really? Well, I must start wearing a watch. Who read with Miss Caswell?
Naturally enough, your understudy, Miss Eve Harrington.
Eve, my understudy.
You mean you didn't know she was?
Oh, yes, of course I knew she was.
It just slipped your mind.
How was Miss Caswell?
Frankly, I don't remember. Margo, as you know, I have lived in the theater as...
As a Trappist monk lives in his fate, I know.
I have no other world, no other life. And once in a great while, I experienced that moment of revelation for which all true believers wait and pray. You were one such moment. Jean Eagles, another. Hayes, Cornell. And now Eve Harrington. Brilliant, vivid, something made of music and fire.
I see. How nice, Addison.
In time, she'll be what you are, Margo.
A mass of music and fire, that's me. Tell me, was Bill swept away too, or were you too full of revelation to notice?
Bill didn't say, but Lloyd was beside himself. He listened to his play as if someone else had written it, he said. It sounded so fresh, so new, so full of meaning.
Oh, how nice for Lloyd. And Eve, and everybody. Excuse me, Addison, dear, but I'm going backstage and have a word with all those happy people. Well, shall we start the audition? Oh, hello, Eve.
Oh, good afternoon, Miss Channing.
The audition's all over, Margo.
What's all over?
Eve read with Miss Caswell.
Eve? Well, how enchanting. Wherever did you get the idea of having Eve?
She's your understudy, isn't she?
Eve? Eve, my understudy?
Miss Channing, I can't tell you how glad I am that you arrived so late.
Really, Eve? Why?
Well, if you'd come in the middle, I wouldn't have dared to go on reading. I simply wouldn't have dared.
What a pity, all that fire and music being turned off.
Fire and music.
You wouldn't understand.
Oh, now, Miss Channing, believe me, I was dreadful. I was awful. I have no right to be anyone's understudy, much less yours.
I'm sure you underestimate yourself. Doesn't she, Lloyd?
Margo, you'd have been proud of her. She was a revelation.
Really? To you too, Lloyd?
Look here, what do you mean? Eve, go in my
Oh,
office.
yes, Mr. Fabian.
I mean, among other things, that it must have been a revelation to have your 24-year-old character played by a 24-year-old actress. So she says.
That's beside the point.
It's right to the point. Also, that it must have sounded so new and fresh to you, so full of fire and music.
Addison.
Oh, so you've been talking to that venomous fishwife, Addison DeWitt.
In this case, it's trustworthy as the World Almanac.
You knew when you came in that the audition was over, that Eve was your understudy, playing that childish little game of cat and mouse.
Not mouse. Never mouse. If anything, rat.
Margo, you have a genius for making a barroom brawl out of a perfectly innocent misunderstanding at most.
Perfectly innocent men have been hanged for less. I'm lied to, attacked behind my back, accused of reading your silly dialogue inaccurately.
Please, children, may I say a word?
No, you keep out of this, Max. Go over there and sit down next to Bill. Look how calmly he takes everything. But after all, why should one expect anything else? Huh, directors.
Go on, my sweet. Don't stop for me.
I wouldn't think of stopping you.
Actresses, stars, they never die, they never change.
You can change the star any time you want. For a new, fresh, exciting one with built-in fire and music. Anytime you want, starting with tonight's performance. Did you hear that, Max?
Margo, please, this is for lawyers to talk about. You have a contract.
Are you threatening me with legal action, Mr. Fabian?
Are you breaking the contract, Miss Channing?
Answer my question. Are you threatening me?
Who am I to threaten? I'm a dying man.
What? Speak up! I can't hear you!
I am a dying man!
Not until the last drugstore sold its last pill.